She fell to her knees, buried her face in her hands, and for a moment she couldn't even speak. Because what just happened had never happened before. Not once. Not in the entire history of Philippine tennis. Alexandra Eala didn't just win a match. She won a WTA 500 title, on American soil, against one of the top 3 players on the planet. And within hours, this stopped being a sports story and turned into something the whole country was talking about. People are calling it Eala Mania, and honestly, that's not an exaggeration. She beat Jessica Pegula 4-6, 6-4, 6-0. Read that last score again. She didn't just beat a top 3 player in a final, she bageled her. 8 points. That's all Pegula managed to win in that entire third set. I think it was just a huge explosion of emotions, Eala said afterward, still catching her breath. All the nerves that have been building up this past week. She talked about calling her parents first, then her brother. About how these moments creep up on you slowly, then all at once. Now here's where it gets bigger. A name nobody expected to hear attached to a Washington, D.C. tennis result, Barack Obama. That's the rumor spreading online right now. And once you see what she actually pulled off on that court and how her own government reacted to it, you start to understand why people believe it before anyone's confirmed a thing. Let's rewind to the final itself, because if you skip this part, nothing else makes sense. Eala walked in against Pegula, the world number 3, a player known for being relentlessly consistent. She dropped the first set 4-6. Against someone like Pegula, that's not a small hole. That's usually a match heading toward a predictable ending. Then the rain came. Play was suspended with Pegula ahead in the second set, and Eala had to pack up, leave the stadium, and go sit with an unfinished final overnight. Picture that. 21 years old, down in the biggest match of your career, and instead of finishing while your adrenaline is still running hot, you're stuck in a hotel room trying to sleep with the whole tournament still hanging over you. Most players don't come back from a break like that. Momentum dies. Doubt creeps in. Eala came back out the next morning and did the opposite of fold. She won the last 9 games of the match. 9 straight, against a top 3 opponent, in a final, after trailing. She took the second set 6-4, then completely dismantled the third, 6-0. And that made her the first player in Philippine sports history, man or woman, at any level, to win a professional tour singles title. Think about every Filipino player who came before her across every decade of the sport. None of them got here. She just did. This is where it stops being a tennis headline and becomes a genuine national moment. The Philippine House of Representatives passed a resolution congratulating her by name, calling it a historic win. A congressman personally filed it. And it didn't happen quietly in some side committee. Lawmakers paused an active impeachment proceeding, one of the most serious things a government can be doing, just to talk about a tennis match. And this wasn't even a one-time reaction. Weeks earlier, after her run to the 4th round at Wimbledon, Congress had already passed a separate resolution honoring that too. Before that, resolutions for her U.S. Open appearance. Before that, her junior Grand Slam title years back. Every time she breaks new ground, it gets written into the official record. That tells you exactly how much this one athlete means to an entire country. Is it unusual for a former president to publicly congratulate an athlete for a historic first? Not really. Obama's done it before for milestones like this. That's exactly why the rumor has legs, even without confirmation. Whether or not he actually posts something, the anticipation alone has become part of the story. Now let's talk about the crowd, because what people witnessed in person that week was its own kind of unprecedented. Reporters on site said Filipino fans packed the stadium all week, waving flags, cheering even when her opponents missed a serve, which is basically a tennis sin nobody in that crowd cared about breaking. When Eala did her post-match interviews outside, fans followed just to keep cheering behind the cameras. That is not normal behavior at a hard-court event 3,000 miles from Manila. That's a crowd acting like their team just won at home. Before Pegula, there was Naomi Osaka in the semifinal. Eala beat the 4-time Grand Slam champion 6-4, 6-2, and what Osaka said afterwards says everything. She called Eala incredible, a star, someone people can genuinely look up to. And Eala, true to form, deflected the credit outward, thanking the fans, saying the tournament deserved nothing less than its best crowd. She's 21. She speaks 3 languages. She trained at Rafael Nadal's academy in Spain. She's been on the cover of Vogue Philippines. And along the way to this title, she beat an Olympic champion, came back from a set-down against fellow Filipino Leylah Fernandez, and took down all 3 top seeds in the draw back-to-back-to-back. The online reaction afterward was immediate. Clips of her collapsing to the ground, of confetti catching her completely off guard at the trophy ceremony, spread everywhere within days. People keep replaying it because the shock on her face is real, not performed. And underneath almost every clip, the same comment over and over. They never thought they'd live to see a Filipino lift a WTA trophy. Before this year, the Philippines had never produced a single top-level singles champion in the sport's modern history, not one, in a country where basketball and boxing have always owned the spotlight. She just changed that permanently. The win came with 500 ranking points and $252,000 in prize money, but more than that, it came with kids in Manila signing up for tennis lessons because they watched someone who looks like them do the impossible. Whether Obama ever says a word about this or not, the story doesn't really need him to matter. Congress already stopped its own business to talk about her. A 4-time Grand Slam champion already called her an inspiration to her face. And a stadium 3,000 miles from home already turned into something that felt, for one night, like a holiday back in Manila. The record already speaks for itself.